Okay, so welcome to the Brainy Book Dragon, episode 1, I guess. So really, this channel is just to talk about books of all kinds. So I read fiction, nonfiction, all that jazz. Some things are about self-improvement. Some things are going to be about money and investments, and then other ones are just fiction and pretty much fantasy as far as fiction goes, just because that's really my favorite genre. So yeah, who knows what's going to come out of this? I'm not going to do a whole lot of promotion for it. So if you found this channel, congratulations, because I'm really not promoting it. It's just going to be there. So yeah, let's kind of see what happens here. I've been reading a ton of books. Let me just go ahead and pull up my Goodreads thing just so I can kind of see. Okay, so because I literally forget about every single book that I'm currently reading because I have a lot in progress. Good Lord. Okay, so I've been reading You Are a Badass at Making Money by Jen Sincero. And so when I'm reading this one, and I also read You Are a Badass, which was written by Jen Sincero as well. So these books are really good at just kind of reminding you of the things you already know. And so she doesn't really tell you a lot of new information, but she does remind you of things that you aren't thinking of currently. So she has a nice setup for these books. And I like how she has some important phrases kind of sectioned out from the rest of the information in the chapters. And when it comes to nonfiction books, I usually have to have a physical copy because I end up annotating and making notes and underlining stuff and everything through all of the pages. So I've been doing that as I've been reading her books. The one thing that really kind of bugs me about these books is it's a forced attempt to be casual in certain situations. So, she uses slang terminology or whatever, and there are some phrases that would be really good and poignant if she didn't try to be hip, if that makes sense. It's not if that makes sense. It totally makes sense. It becomes off unprofessional in a way. I love the information that she's got in there. I love the, side stories and the way that she's got it set up. And there are so many important key points that she brings up in these books. But like I said, the one biggest frustration I have is her trying to be cool, and it just frustrates me to no end. So, I'm totally for having a more laid back approach to nonfiction, but it gets to the point where it kind of gets in the way of the information that you're getting. So I'm about 70% done with You're a Badass at Making Money. I really like how she brings up the relationship that we have with money. And if you described the relationship that you have with money as if it were a relationship with a real person, the fact that you can kind of see the toxicity that you put on that relationship, it's really intriguing, the viewpoint that she has there. So if you're, wanting to kind of get remotivated to try getting your life together kind of thing, those are definitely some books I would check out because they are really good. I'm also reading, so just to run through the list, I'm reading Eldest, which is the second book in the inheritance cycle, which is like Aragon and stuff. I'm reading Emily Wilde's Encyclopedia of Fairies, The House on the Cerulean Sea, Daughter of No Worlds, A Day of Fallen Night, Clarissa, or The History of a Young Lady, as well as Babel and Arcane History. So I have kind of a nice little mix there, very interesting little grab bag of books. When it comes to, and I teach classes for books as well, and I teach literary analysis, and I'm also a writing coach. So I really am very big on dissecting books, and that's kind of what this whole channel is about, is the dissection and the analysis of some of these books that I read. And not everybody's going to agree with my viewpoints on that. And I'm totally cool with that because all of this is just my personal opinion. So don't agree, that's cool. I don't care. And if you have points against it, I mean, I'm all for a hearty argument, because arguments are just discussions between people with different views. So I am all for that. Now, when it comes to the dog in the background rolling around, when it comes to Emily Wilde's Encyclopedia of Fairies, I actually had a friend send me a copy of this book because she hated the weird words that she could not pronounce. And this is actually a really big situation for different books that people run into. And I don't blame them. And, there's even kind of a meme about it on TikTok where a woman says, I head out with we were on the land of blah, 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 and then, with our companion so and so and Bob, and it's true, because it's very frustrating for readers when we cannot pronounce the name of a character or a place. We want to be able to relate to these things that you've listed in a book. My dog seriously is losing his mess. Hey, dude, chill out, man. So it really is frustrating for readers. Like I said, it was to the point where she could not even handle reading the book, and she only made it to like page 20 before she called it quits and then just sent me the book. Am I reading it in hardback? No. Do I have the hardback? Yes. I'm listening to it on Libby. Thank goodness for that platform. So it makes it a lot easier because I can just move my bookmark as I move through the book on audio. I don't know how the narrator was able to pronounce some of these things, but I'm so glad that they got notes from the author so that they could, because it makes it a lot easier to connect with a story when somebody else can pronounce that for you. House on the Cerulean Sea, one of my favorite books. It's a lot of fun to also break down this book. So if you're trying to get into annotating or anything, this is actually a really good book to check out. Get yourself a hard copy of it, get yourself some highlighters, decide what you want your color codes to be. But it's very easy to break down this book as far as character building, world building, finding a lot of humor, finding a lot of life lessons, foreshadowing and stuff like that. So have some fun with it, because you really can get a lot out of that book. Sounds like my family's moving around. So I'm going to go ahead and call it quits on this one, and we will catch up in another one. See y'all later. Bye.